Hey guys, welcome back to the program. Welcome back to the DeeTimeLove show, the first video of 2024, and I've got something new to the channel, a brand that I've never featured before. I have a watch from Bvor watches. This is the Bvor Vision I'm going to showcase to you guys on the channel. They actually made their debut, part of my show A to Z of Watches, the Winter Watch Show at BQ Watches. And they did get a lot of attention. There was a lot of interest in the brand. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have part one where I unveil the watch, go through the specs, the design, the dimensions, and so on, give you my first impressions. And then I'm going to give you part two, highlights of my interview with the guys from Bvor watches from the show, so you can see the guys behind the brand to give you more of an insight to what they're all about. So guys, let's take a closer look at the timepiece, and there you have it guys. This is the Bvor Automatic Vision, as you can see there, and straight away it does have a lot of presence, and it did stand out compared to some of the other watches we had on display. This is a homegrown brand, Bvor watches from the UK, and let's go through the specifications before I give you my first impressions. Let's change perspective and have a look at the dimensions of this particular timepiece. Now the case diameter of this timepiece is 42 millimeters, and lug to lug you're looking at 53 millimeters. It's got a case thickness of 11 millimeters, and the bandwidth is 22 millimeters. Let's just turn this over, and as you can see the movement there. Now this Bvor watch is hosting the 9015 Miyota movement. It beats at 28,800 beats per hour. At this high beat movement, it's got 42 hours power reserve, and you can see the watch has got a 50 meters water resistance, and you can see there's some sort of engraving at the back that incorporates with the clear case back. They've got the company logo there on the actual rotor, and then you can see the 9015 movement. Not really highly decorated, they've kept it quite simple, but at least they've got the logo. It's not like some of the micro brands that just chuck in that Miyota movement and just don't do anything with it. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more decoration, if I was being honest with you, to highlight that Bvor, rotor on there, just to give it a bit more contrast as such. But good standard stuff. You see the case back is screwed in with screws as such, and it is a 3-layered case, and you've got the B for Bvor watches engraved on the crown there. So it's a 3-layered structured dial. Let's go to the front of this particular timepiece, and you can see it is a high-end finish polish throughout with this 3-layered constructed case. Looking at the hands, they're very well executed, and they say that the actual dial is a wave dial. It's sort of a straight edge finish in there. I like the splash of red where it says Vision there. Very nice indeed. Nice crisp execution of the actual handset there, and we'll check out the Lume. So you can see that inner sort of dial there, and you can see the indices there and the minute track on top going around the watch. Now first impressions, well look guys, I actually when you're browsing the exhibition, they do capture your eye, and that is for their design. You could say there's a little bit of Gerald Gensler about it in terms of its inspiration, but you see that those are the types of watches inspired this kind of design, but they've really given it their own look as well. Looking at the high and finish polish, I do like it. Makes it very bling. It does make it stand out, makes it quite useful, I would say as well. Leather band, this is the one with the blue finish dial and blue strap. The strap is okay, the calf not bad. I would say I'd love to put it on a real croc. There are no easy release straps on this particular model, but I would have liked to see easy release straps on the leather of this particular model. In terms of the crown, it's manual wind, it's hacking. To say the crown is okay. Sometimes quite hard to pull out, but overall it's very accessible and very good to use. Look, I actually like the design, and they've got a wonderful story in regards to this timepiece. I think for the price, getting an in UK brand in terms of what they're doing, it's very, very cool indeed. Let's get the watch on the wrist. Now I've got just under 7-inch wrist, and although this watch is 42 millimeters in terms of case diameter, Its lug to lug is 53mm. It wears fairly well. Leather band, you do need to break it in to soften it up. It can seem a little bit stiff, but once broken in, it wears reasonably well. It's comfortable, but I would say, if I was being overly critical, look, it's going to please a lot of wrists, this timepiece, because it's got real presence, but it does sort of look a lot more thicker than what the watch actually is because of the case design of the watch. Now, you're looking at this, if you look at it, it's 11mm in terms of case thickness, but it's very rectangle in terms of its finishing. As you can see there, it doesn't sort of smoothen out, and the lugs sort of come out with the middle layer of that dial. If I was being overly critical, I think what they could do is look at sort of integrating that design to flow better and articulate better, and I think they could make the lugs even more slightly smaller, so the leather strap would go round your wrist more consistency and more fluidly. But in saying that, it does wear very well, and I believe this particular timepiece could be a real strap monster. Now, I wouldn't mind playing around with this, putting it on a real alligator strap, brown and blue, to see how it plays with the light, and I think that could really elevate this timepiece and make it look far more expensive, because the case and fit and finish of this timepiece is very good indeed in terms of quality. Let's take a closer look at the Lume, guys. Let's change perspective and take a look at the Lume. And the Lume on this piece is very impressive. You can see that Bvor watches have applied many layers of Swiss Luminova to give you that bluish green colour. That very nice indeed. It really is very impressive indeed, and it does last a long time. So they have been very quality driven in regards to the whole construction of this timepiece, and I have to say, at the show they did capture a lot of attention because of the design. There was some Gentry's design about it and flair, but they're giving their own take on it, these guys. Very cool indeed. Let's have a look at the history of the brand and the people behind the brand, and in part 2 we'll look at the actual guys behind the brand and interview with them at the Winter Watch Show. Let's take a closer look before we go into part 2 in regards to the story behind this brand. It comes with a solid box, nothing spectacular but reasonable for what you're paying for, I have to say. Now, the price of this particular timepiece, the one that I've shown you today, is the Bvor Vision brushed silver with the blue dial, comes in at €637 for 2024, and in pound sterling I believe it's just under £599 for 2024. But before we go into part 2, to give you guys a highlight show reel of the interview with the guys behind the brand at the Winter Watch Show, you also get a postcard in regards to the guys behind the brand, and it says, in 2019 a remarkable journey began with 2 students and their teacher, bound by friendship, embarked on a path in the world of luxury watches.
Hi, we are Bvor Watches, and our brand started at Aldenham School in 2020 when me and my friend here went to our teacher for a bit of business advice. After speaking to him, and he come up to say, well, do something you generally love, and we decided to do watches together. So after that, the 3 of us, which are over there on the poster, teamed up and actually released our first line of watches.
That's an interesting photograph, that is, isn't it?
That's actually in our boarding house, yeah. In there. It's quite a good one.
Very nice.
Wow.
And how did you get into it? How did this happen? Because it's quite a romantic story, you could say.
It's definitely an interesting story. After wanting to go into business together at 17 years old, we wanted to start off with clothing. That kind of went out the window after my poor fashion sense, maybe. And he said, do something you love. So we all looked into it. We loved the watches. Parents had expensive watches and like that. And it kind of went from there, really. After a couple of years of design, at the end of 2020, we were very happy to release the first line of Bvor watches to the general public. Our goal in mind was to create a sort of unique travel companion, as you will, something that could be with you throughout life's journeys and be a constant reminder of where you're heading and what you come from before. So from the, should we say left to right here?
Yeah, let's go for left and right.
Should we start here?
Yeah.
So this is the first line of Bvor watches. All of our watches are manufactured from 316L stainless steel, and we do the options of brushed, polished here, and we also do the blue PVD coating. We do the equivalent with the black versions over there. We use a stainless steel case with a sapphire crystal front and back, and powering our movement is a Japanese Miyota 9015 Premium automatic.
So it's high beat movement as well.
It's the high beat premium range.
What are the RRP prices on these timepieces?
The retail prices for the steel versions are £549, while the colourful ones come in at £599.
And that piece there in the middle, is that a different piece, is it? Or?
Yeah, so that's our full black version. We've nicknamed this one the Night Vision. It's a 316L stainless steel in a brush finished, but comes with a black PVD coating.
Fantastic.
All of our watches come in a presentation watch box with our instruction booklets and manuals underneath.
So for anyone who's interested in purchasing this timepiece, what would be the best way to go about finding your watches online? Or?
Yes. Well, please feel free to reach out to us on social media, on our Instagram account at Bvor Watches, or on our website at bvorwatches.com.
Fantastic, guys. Check them out. Really cool, trendy brand, very dynamic, and some great people behind the brand. So best of luck, guys. And we hope to see you more on a regular basis at the show.
Yes, thank you very much.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thank you.